In a small Brazilian village, a mysterious curse threatened to destroy a young woman's life, but the truth behind it would shock everyone. Story. Today's true story comes from Brazil. In a quiet village lived an extremely wealthy man named Shen Wan. He had only one sister, Shetty, whose health suddenly took a turn for the worse. Despite consulting the best doctors across the country, nothing seemed to help her. Desperate, someone suggested bringing a spiritual healer. When the healer arrived, he examined Shetty and revealed a shocking truth. She was under a black magic curse. Someone had fed her mysterious substances, which caused her condition. The family had a maid, and the healer confronted her, demanding the truth. "Tell us, or you'll pay with your life. Whatever was done to Shetty, it was your doing, because you were always around her," he warned. Shetty was incredibly beautiful, and the maid finally confessed. She revealed that a local young man, who was in love with Shetty and wanted to marry her, had bribed her into carrying out the acts. The real mastermind, however, was an elderly woman living in an old house in the village, who was performing the dark rituals at the young man's command. Determined to end the curse, the healer and Shen Wan confronted the old woman. When she resisted, the healer grabbed her by the hair and threatened, "Tell the truth, or Shetty's family will make sure you pay dearly." Terrified, she revealed all the details of the ritual. With the secrets exposed, the healer nullified the curse, destroying every trace of the dark magic. Shetty's health was restored, and the village finally found peace. In a remote village in Brazil, a wealthy man named Shen Wan watched helplessly as his only sister, Shetty, grew weaker by the day. Doctors from across the country tried everything, but nothing worked. In desperation, they called a local spiritual healer. After examining her, he said bluntly, "Shetty was under black magic. Someone had secretly fed her cursed substances, causing her condition." The family maid was questioned. "Tell the truth, or you die. Whatever happened to Shetty, it was your doing," the healer demanded. Finally, the maid broke down. She confessed that a young man from the village, who loved Shetty and wanted to marry her, had bribed her to perform the dark acts. The real mastermind? An old woman living alone in a crumbling house, carrying out the rituals at his command. The healer and Shen Wan confronted the old woman. When she refused to talk, he grabbed her by the hair. Terrified, she revealed the full truth. With the curse exposed, the healer destroyed it completely. Shetty recovered, safe at last. But the village would never forget the dark secret that had haunted them. In a quiet village in Brazil, wealth and luxury surrounded Shen Wan, one of the richest men in the region. But despite his riches, nothing mattered more to him than his only sister, Shetty. Shetty was radiant, beautiful, and full of life, a jewel in the family's heart. One morning, however, her health began to fail mysteriously. She grew weaker each day, her skin pale, her eyes dim. No doctor in the country could explain her condition. Medicines, treatments, even the most advanced therapies failed. Fear settled over the family like a shadow. Days passed and Shetty's condition worsened. In desperation, a villager suggested consulting a powerful spiritual healer. Shen Wan, with no hope left, agreed. When the healer arrived, he studied Shetty carefully. After a long silence, he finally spoke. "This is no ordinary sickness. She is under a dark curse. Someone has fed her poisonous substances and trapped her in a spell. Only the source of this black magic can save her." The family was horrified. Who could want to harm Shetty? Their suspicion fell on the family maid, who had always been near her. The healer's gaze was piercing. "You must tell the truth," he warned. "Whoever did this, whether by choice or by command, you will face consequences if you lie. Speak now, or face death." The maid shook, her fear overpowering her. Shetty's beauty and the family's power had always intimidated her, but terror forced her confession. She revealed that a young man from the village, hopelessly in love with Shetty and desperate to marry her, had bribed her to carry out the acts. But the maid was not the mastermind. The true orchestrator of the curse was an elderly woman living alone in a crumbling house at the village's edge. It was she who performed the rituals, following the young man's orders. Shen Wan and the healer knew they had to confront her. They walked into the old woman's dilapidated home. Dust covered the floors, and the air was thick with incense and herbs. The old woman tried to deny everything, her voice trembling with anger and fear. The healer's eyes narrowed. Calmly, he grabbed her hair and said, "Speak the truth. If you hide anything, Shetty's family will not spare you." The woman, now trembling uncontrollably, confessed every detail: the rituals, the incantations, the potions, and the hidden ingredients she had used to harm Shetty. With every word, the healer noted the details, preparing to undo the dark magic. Back at Shenwan's home, the healer began a powerful counter-ritual. Flames flickered, herbs burned, and chants filled the room. Slowly, the darkness lifted. Shetty's eyes regained their sparkle, her strength returned, and the color came back to her cheeks. The curse was broken. The village was stunned. News of the curse spread quickly. Whispers of greed, obsession, and dark magic lingered in every corner. Shenwan was eternally grateful to the healer, but he knew one painful truth: the greatest dangers often hide not in shadows, but in human hearts, where envy and obsession fester. From that day on, Shetty lived freely, but the memory of the dark days stayed with the family forever. The villagers would tell the story for generations, a chilling reminder that love turned into greed could unleash darkness far stronger than anyone imagined. In a small, remote village in Brazil, wealth and power often drew attention, but none commanded more than Shenwan. He was one of the richest men in the region, yet his wealth was meaningless compared to the life of his only sister, Shetty. Shetty was extraordinary not just for her beauty, but for her kindness, her laughter, her presence that brightened every room. But one day, her laughter stopped. Her energy faded. Her skin lost its glow, and her eyes seemed to dim with each passing hour. Doctors from across the country were called, specialists of every kind, but none could explain her condition. Medicines, treatments, even advanced therapies all failed. Shenwan watched helplessly as his sister slipped further away. The family grew desperate. In the midst of this despair, someone suggested consulting a spiritual healer, a man known for solving mysteries beyond medicine. Shenwan, with no other hope, agreed. The healer arrived quietly, observing Shetty carefully. He studied her pulse, the color of her eyes, the subtle energy around her. After a long, tense silence, he finally spoke. "This is no ordinary illness. She is cursed. Black magic has been placed upon her. Someone has fed her substances meant to destroy her from within. Unless the source is confronted, she will not survive." Shock rippled through the household. Who could commit such evil? Who could wish harm upon Shetty? The healer's eyes fell on the maid, who had always been near Shetty. Calm but menacing, he confronted her. "Tell the truth. Whoever has done this by choice or command, you will face the consequences if you lie. Speak now, or your life will end here." Fear overtook the maid. Shetty's beauty, the family's power, and the healer's presence were overwhelming. Trembling, she confessed. A young man from the village, hopelessly in love with Shetty, had bribed her to carry out sinister acts. But the maid was not the true mastermind. The real orchestrator was an elderly woman, living alone in a crumbling, eerie house at the edge of the village. She had performed the dark rituals at the command of this obsessed young man. Determined to save Shetty, Shenwan and the healer went to confront the old woman. Her house was a place of shadows, walls covered with dried herbs, candles flickering in dusty corners, strange symbols painted across the floor. The old woman tried to deny everything, her voice shaking with anger and fear. The healer's gaze was sharp, unwavering. "Tell the truth," he said quietly but firmly. "Hide nothing, or Shetty's family will ensure you pay dearly for your crimes." The woman's resistance crumbled. She revealed everything: the rituals, the incantations, the hidden powders and herbs, and the dark spells that had tormented Shetty. With every detail, the healer prepared the counter-ritual, determined to destroy the curse forever. Back at Shenwan's home, preparations began. Candles burned, incense smoke filled the room, and the healer chanted ancient words. The air seemed to thicken as if the darkness itself resisted. Hours passed, each second heavy with suspense. Then Slowly, Shetty's color returned. Her eyes sparkled once more, and her laughter echoed through the house. The curse was broken. The village was stunned. Word of the curse spread quickly. The story of greed, obsession, and black magic became a legend. Shen Wan realized a chilling truth. Sometimes, the deadliest monsters are not hidden in shadows, but in the hearts of humans, where envy and obsession fester. Shetty lived, free at last, but the memory of the curse stayed with the family. Every shadow, every whisper of the wind reminded them that darkness could arrive unexpectedly, and that even love could be twisted into something dangerous. Years later, villagers would still speak of the wealthy family and the girl who survived a curse of the young man's obsession, the old woman's rituals, and the maid's betrayal. It was a tale of fear, hope, and the mysterious power of truth. Shen Wan often reflected, wealth could buy comfort, doctors could offer cures, but only courage, wisdom, and truth could defeat the darkest magic. And in the heart of that small Brazilian village, the story of Shetty's survival would never be forgotten. In a quiet village in Brazil, wealth and comfort surrounded Shen Wan, one of the richest men in the region. But wealth meant nothing to him compared to his only sister, Shetty. Shetty was extraordinary. Her beauty, kindness, and laughter made her beloved by everyone around her. But one morning, that light began to fade. Shetty's health deteriorated mysteriously. Her skin became pale, her eyes dimmed, and her energy vanished. Doctors across Brazil examined her tirelessly, but no medicine, no treatment, no surgery could help. Fear gripped the family. Every day, Shen Wan watched helplessly as his sister slipped further into weakness. In desperation, a villager suggested consulting a spiritual healer. Shen Wan, with no hope left, agreed. When the healer arrived, he carefully observed Shetty. After a long, tense silence, he finally spoke. "This is no ordinary illness. She is cursed. Black magic has been placed upon her. Someone has secretly fed her substances to weaken her body and mind. Unless we confront the source, she will die." The family was stunned. Who could commit such a terrible act? Their suspicion fell on the family maid, who had always been near Shetty. The healer fixed his gaze on her. "Tell the truth," he demanded. "Whoever did this, whether by choice or command, if you lie, you will face death. Speak now." Fear overcame the maid. Shetty's beauty, the family's power, and the healer's presence left her trembling. She confessed that a young man in the village, obsessed with Shetty and desperate to marry her, had bribed her to carry out the acts. But she was not the mastermind. The true orchestrator of the curse was an elderly woman living alone in a crumbling house at the edge of the village. The old woman had performed the dark rituals at the young man's command. Determined to save Shetty, Shen Wan and the healer traveled to confront the old woman. Her house was eerie walls covered with dried herbs, flickering candles casting dancing shadows, and strange symbols painted across the floor. The air was thick, heavy, as if the darkness itself resisted their presence. The old woman denied everything, her voice trembling. The healer stepped forward, his calm eyes sharp and unwavering. "Tell the truth," he said. "Hide nothing, or Shetty's family will ensure you pay dearly for your crimes." Fear and desperation broke the woman. She revealed every detail, the rituals, the chants, the cursed powders, and the incantations. With this knowledge, the healer prepared the counter-ritual to destroy the black magic forever. Back at Shen Wan's home, preparations began. Candles flickered, incense smoke filled the room, and the healer chanted powerful ancient words. The darkness fought. Back the air grew heavy. The shadows seemed alive. But the healer's focus never wavered. Hours passed, each moment dripping with suspense. Slowly, Shetty's color returned. Her eyes sparkled again. Her energy surged, and her laughter, once gone, echoed through the house. The curse had been destroyed. The village was stunned when they learned of the ordeal. Whispers of greed, obsession, betrayal, and black magic spread everywhere. The young man, consumed by obsession, was shunned. The old woman was feared for life. The maid's betrayal became a cautionary tale. and Shen Wan realized the chilling truth. The deadliest monsters often hide not in shadows, but in human hearts, where envy and obsession fester. Shetty survived, finally free. But the memory of the curse lingered. Shadows, strange sounds. Even the wind reminded the family of those dark days. Villagers would tell the story for generations, a chilling tale of greed, love turned dangerous, and the mysterious power of truth. Years later, Shen Wan would reflect on those days. He realized that wealth could buy comfort, doctors could offer cures, but only courage, wisdom, and the truth could defeat the darkest forces. And in the heart of that quiet Brazilian village, Shetty's survival remained a legend, a reminder that darkness could strike anywhere, and that only in a small, remote village in Brazil, wealth and comfort surrounded Shen Wan, one of the richest men in the region. But no amount of money could protect him from the greatest fear a brother could face: the suffering of his only sister, Shetty. Shetty was extraordinary not only for her radiant beauty, but for her gentle heart and laughter that seemed to light up the entire village. Everyone who met her adored her, but in the shadow of wealth and admiration, danger was quietly approaching. It began subtly. At first, Shetty complained of fatigue, headaches, and strange feelings of nausea. Within weeks, her condition worsened drastically. Her skin became pale, her eyes dull, her energy vanished. Doctors from across Brazil examined her tirelessly, but no medicine, treatment, or therapy could help. Specialists were baffled. Shen Wan, once a man of control and influence, found himself powerless. Fear and desperation filled the family home like a heavy fog. As days passed, Shetty's illness took a mysterious turn. Her health deteriorated rapidly, leaving the family frantic. A villager finally whispered a suggestion that seemed both improbable and dangerous: consult a spiritual healer, a man rumored to uncover truths that medicine could not. Shen Wan, with nothing left to lose, agreed. When the healer arrived, he moved silently, his gaze calm but penetrating. He studied Shetty, observing subtle signs of unseen forces at work. After hours of careful examination, he finally spoke, his voice low and chilling. "This is no ordinary sickness. She is under a powerful curse. Black magic has been cast upon her. Someone has fed her substances meant to weaken her body and spirit, and the energy around her is trapped. Unless we find the source of this dark force, she will not survive." The family was shocked. Who could commit such a crime? Their suspicion turned to the family maid, who had always been present when Shetty fell ill. The healer's gaze fixed upon her. "Speak the truth," he commanded. "If you hide anything, if you lie, you will face death." Who is responsible for this? Fear overtook the maid. Shetty's beauty, the family's power, and the healer's commanding presence were overwhelming. Trembling, she confessed, a young man from the village, hopelessly in love with Shetty and desperate to marry her, had bribed her to carry out the acts. But she was only a pawn. The real mastermind, the architect of this dark curse, was an elderly woman living alone in a crumbling house at the village's edge. It was she who performed the rituals under the young man's instructions. Determined to save Shetty, Shen Wan and the healer traveled to confront the old woman. Her house was eerie, surrounded by twisted trees and shadows that seemed alive. Inside, dust-covered floors were scattered with dried herbs. Flickering candles cast dancing shadows, and strange symbols were painted across the walls. The air was thick and heavy, as though the darkness itself resisted their presence. The old woman denied everything, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and anger. The healer stepped forward, his eyes sharp and unwavering. "Tell the truth," he said. "Hide nothing, or Shetty's family will ensure you pay dearly for your crimes." The old woman, now visibly shaken, confessed. She revealed every detail: the rituals, the chants, the powders, the potions, and the spells that had slowly drained Shetty's life. With this knowledge, the healer prepared a counter-ritual to destroy the black magic completely. Back at Shen Wan's home, preparations began. Candles flickered in every corner. Incense smoke filled the air, and the healer chanted ancient words that resonated with power. The darkness fought back, the air grew heavier, shadows twisted unnaturally, and an eerie chill settled over the room. The family watched in tense silence as the healer worked tirelessly, drawing protective symbols around Shetty's bed. Hours passed. The room felt alive with energy. Slowly, Shetty's color returned. Her eyes regained their sparkle, her strength surged, and the soft sound of her laughter echoed through the home. The curse had been destroyed. The village was stunned when news of the ordeal spread. Whispers of greed, obsession, betrayal, and black magic rippled through every corner. The young man, consumed by obsession, was shunned. The old woman became a figure of fear and caution. The maid's betrayal became a warning story for the next generations, and Shen Wan realized a chilling truth. The deadliest monsters often hide not in shadows, but in human hearts, where envy, obsession, and greed fester. Shetty survived, finally free, but the memory of the curse lingered. Shadows, strange noises, even the wind reminded the family of those dark days. The villagers would retell the story for generations, a tale of fear, hope, love, obsession, and the mysterious power of truth. Years later, Shen Wan reflected on those terrifying days. He understood that wealth could buy comfort, doctors could offer cures, but only courage, wisdom, and the unyielding pursuit of truth could defeat the darkest forces. And in the heart of that quiet Brazilian village, Shetty's survival remained a legend, a chilling reminder that darkness could strike anywhere, often from the most unexpected human hearts. Even now, villagers claim that on stormy nights, whispers of rituals, curses, and shadowy figures can still be heard from the old house at the village edge, warning that greed and obsession can awaken forces beyond imagination. The story of Shetty's curse, her brother's courage, and the healer's unwavering skill became immortal, inspiring generations to respect the power of truth and the dangers of human obsession. Brave and truthful could stand against it. In a remote Brazilian village, life moved slowly, and the sun's warmth bathed the small cottages in golden light. Amid this calm lived Shen Wan, a man of immense wealth. His mansion stood like a castle in the village, but despite his riches, nothing mattered to him more than his sister, Shetty. Shetty's beauty was unmatched, but her heart and laughter drew people to her. She was the soul of their family, their pride, their joy. One morning, Shetty fell ill. At first, it seemed minor slight fatigue, occasional dizziness, but within days, her condition worsened. Her skin grew pale, her eyes dull, her laughter vanished. Doctors were summoned from every corner of Brazil, yet none could diagnose her. Medicines and treatments failed. Shen Wan watched helplessly as his sister faded before his eyes. Fear and desperation gripped the household. A villager, whispering in fear, suggested they consult a spiritual healer, a man known to confront problems that medicine could not. Shen Wan, desperate and with nothing left to lose, agreed. When the healer arrived, he moved silently through the mansion. His eyes scanned every corner. His hands touched the air lightly, sensing energies unseen. After hours of observation, he finally spoke. "This is no ordinary illness. Shetty is under a cursed black magic. Someone has fed her substances meant to weaken her body and spirit. Until we confront the source, she will die." The family was stunned. Who could do such a thing? Their suspicion fell on the family maid who had always been near Shetty. The healer's gaze pierced her. "Speak the truth," he said. "Hide nothing, or you will die. Whoever is responsible, you will answer for this." The maid trembled. Fear and guilt made her confess. She revealed that a young man in the village, obsessed with Shetty and desperate to marry her, had bribed her to carry out these acts, but she was only a pawn. The true mastermind was an elderly woman living alone in a decrepit house at the village edge. The woman who had performed the dark rituals at the young man's command. Determined to save Shetty, Shen Wan and the healer ventured to the old woman's house. The path to her home was shadowed by twisted trees, and a chilling wind whispered through the village. Inside, the house smelled of incense, herbs, and decay. Candles flickered, casting shadows that seemed alive. Strange symbols were painted on the walls, and the air itself felt heavy, as though it resisted their presence. The old woman denied everything, her voice quivering with fear and anger. The healer stepped forward, calm but commanding. "Tell the truth, hide nothing, or Shetty's family will ensure you pay for this crime." Terrified, the woman confessed. She revealed the rituals, the chants, the cursed powders, and the potions that had slowly drained Shetty's life. With this knowledge, the healer prepared a counter-ritual to destroy the black magic forever. Back at Shen Wan's mansion, preparations began. Candles burned in every corner. Incense smoke filled the air, carrying the scent of herbs and protection. The healer began chanting ancient words, drawing protective symbols around Shetty's bed. Shadows seemed to twist unnaturally, and the air grew cold as though the darkness itself resisted. Every moment was heavy with suspense, every breath uncertain. Hours passed. Slowly, Shetty's color returned. Her eyes regained their sparkle, her strength returned, and the soft sound of her laughter echoed through the house. The curse had been destroyed.